Listen, I want to start off with saying a big thanks for everybody that's come here. We really appreciate your support.
Speak up.
I am. And I want to do a little bit of housekeeping. Our public officials for the city of Atlantic Beach would have been here, but we planned this for last Thursday. We were overcome by events. We had the weather, so we put it off, and they had priorities they had to do for the city and some stuff they had to do, so they would have been here. And tonight we're going to talk about Section H only and our vision for Section H. Anything else is not open for discussion. Okay? I want to introduce my co-partners. I'm Mike Whaley. I have a company called Specialty Marine and Industrial Supply. I've been here for more than I want to say. I remember when Mayport Road was a dirt road, so that should give you an idea. So I'm just not somebody who came here and want to change everything. I want to introduce Mr. Matilio Sequeira.
Hi, I'm Matilio Sequeira. I own Mayport CNC Fisheries. I started my business back in 1987 on West 6th Street when it was a dirt road. So I've seen a lot of changes in the area, and I'm looking to do more changes in the area now.
This is Miss Kelly Earlheil.
Here, my husband redid this shopping center back in '96 and '97, and I grew up here. And we're all staples from Atlantic Beach. We love working with people. We're grateful for that.
She will be giving our main presentation. About the Mayport Corridor Business Association, okay? We're involved strictly with Section H. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that borders Atlantic Boulevard, the Mayport Road, up to Dutton Road, down to Main Street. That's all we are concerned with. That's going to be our focus. That's going to be our business organization. And we are a coalition of residents and business owners and stakeholders here. Often we've heard that, oh, it's all about the business owners. No, it's not. It's about the residents too. And what we want to do is we want to make this more viable economically and environmentally for both the residents and the business owners. And that's going to include infrastructure improvements. And I'm going to tell you, quite frankly, I'm a little irritated with all the money going east of Mayport Road or not coming west. I said Seminole Road, Ocean Walk, and anybody who lives there, I don't want to hurt your feelings, but you get too much. We don't get nothing. You have sewers, drainage, sidewalks, landscaping. They're tearing up third and fourth generation sidewalks, fifth generation landscaping. We have residents over on Dutton Island Road and Main Street who don't have sidewalks, and myself and my business over there, it floods every time we have. And we don't have any sidewalks or any good landscaping. So I'm not going to steal Miss Kelly's thunder, but we need a little love, and we're tired of the money going that way. We want it coming this way. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Kelly Earlheim.
First, I want to welcome everybody who came, every single one of you that came, for taking your time to not only listen to what we're doing, but hopefully to provide your feedback and input so that we can make what we're doing better. We do believe that together we can achieve the ultimate collaboration where everybody wants to live, work, and play. Our main focus is to drive local. We want you guys to be proud that you're in the Mayport corridor and proud that you came down here, and hopefully come back. And Mike already told you guys the area that it involves. Historically, this area has been the backbone for service and commercial industry. It already exists, just like you said. Today I looked on Google Earth, and when I pulled up Section H, it had 110 named businesses. And by named, I mean those businesses have some kind of a social presence on the internet. If you zoomed in, there were another 50 or 60 businesses that were obviously businesses that have no social presence, so they weren't accounted for. But my point is, Section H is real. We're not reinventing the wheel, it's already here. It's been here for many, many years. In fact, many of these businesses were here before some of the communities and subdivisions were even a thought. We were all banished to this side of the beach. But for as long as I can remember, many of the commissions and government, they've always focused on this area, whether they said to revitalize, beautify, no matter how they put it, they all know that we need a change over here, aesthetically as well as the cities look at the future land use map that shows that they've shown a collaborative effort for a generalized business area. While there's an elephant in the room, there's not been a group yet that set a game plan and got busy until us. And with that, there's a lot of focus on the city side area, like it's people. We're the people who've invested our time and money in this area. We've invested our businesses. We've invested in the community. Some of us are even more invested than others, but my point is we're invested with you all. It's not us and them, it's everybody. Everybody's got their money sunk in this area. Everybody wants this area to do well, be well. You know, and I'm very encouraged at the turnout. I'm humbled and encouraged both. We're a part of your community and we want everybody to embrace Section H. We have a unique opportunity here to exist all together. Local support financially for our government and our community. The more businesses that come here, the easier it is to do business here. We'll just drive more money for everybody. A welcoming business environment allows for a broader diversity of business. Don't get me wrong, there's a cost to do business and we're all regulated. Everybody knows you have steps you have to do to have a business. But a use by exception should be a use by exception. It shouldn't be a standard to have a business in the city. That's not how it's supposed to work. It was invented to make an exception for what's not normal, not to be able to exist. And just for the record, a use by exception is also subject to whomever's looking at that application's opinion of what it is you want to do. Nearly 75% of the businesses in Section H today were either grandfathered in or they fought for that use by exception. And it's at least an additional 180-day period where if you're a landlord, you're given free rent and you're having to go help fight. If you're a business owner, I don't know what you're doing for those 180 days. You're waiting just like we did. Our proposal creates a unified standard. It's a general classification that currently is looking to include all of the uses shown in the commercial general, the commercial limited, and the light industrial warehousing in one area, which really is what we already have if you count the use by exceptions. Our proposal allows for outside storage where we can put our backhoes, the tools for our jobs, in storage behind some type of screening or fence, kind of like what the city did with the dumpsters, so that when you're riding down the road, it doesn't look like Sanford and Son or an industrial flea market. You know, we're trying to make it aesthetically pleasing so that it works for everybody involved. We've kept with the city's footprint. We aren't looking for big box stores, and we're not looking for bada bing bars. We just want to embrace pride and ownership where it shouldn't matter what your business is, so long as you don't pollute the air or make too much noise while you do it. And like Mike said, we believe Section H deserves the monetary support enjoyed by the town center side of the beach. We have roads that need to be paved, lighting that needs improved, sidewalks, curbing, ditches that could be covered, and sewage improved. The amount of money spent in Section H has been very nominal as opposed to that on the beach side where they've flooded money with the aesthetics to bring the people out. And they do come, you know, we're just as important as the beach side. We're here to find that common ground. We appreciate you guys' support. And no matter what, we want to make Section H a place that we're all proud to come home to every day. And we do appreciate you coming home.
If I'd like to invite anybody at this moment that heard the presentation, I don't know if you heard all of it, but has any questions about what we're trying to do, please ask now. I'd love to give answers to anything, to any questions that you have about what we're trying to do to move forward with changing the language within inside the zoning. Does anybody at this moment have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
The Section H has been around for some time, and now you're proposing to make it, this is going to be strictly for business.
The Section H part of what we're trying to change is for the businesses and the buildings that exist in the area now.
Okay. And, Part 3 here is allow all service-related business to occupy a space without a need for use by exception, as long as it falls within the accepted criteria. That kind of sounds like the business doesn't want to go through the regular process of getting a permit and going through the, Atlantic Beach codes and everything. why do you feel you have to do that?
Excellent question. We are actually trying to have the business, the Atlantic Beach embrace us as businesses that come in. Because there's competition for cities to have businesses come in and do business in the community. So yes, I'm asking Atlantic Beach to actually say, what can we do for you to do business in our area? What we're asking the businesses to do, and Atlantic Beach is asking us to do, is when you become a business in one of those buildings, abide by the laws that we have, which would be the outside look of the building, the noise that you're going to emit, and the pollution that you're going to emit. Abide by the standards that we have in place. We're not asking to change those standards whatsoever. Just to ask what type of business you can have in there. And right now, because we're in the 21st century, retail A, the way it is now, is completely changed because of the internet. You have millions of businesses now that could come into these businesses and buildings and do business. But we only have, 13 or 50 or 37 types of opportunities to do business here. I say expand the horizon, bring quality businesses in here without them having to beg the city, have them actually embrace these people and bring them in and say, please come do business here. Because when they are doing business here and they keep their outside clean and their noise down and no pollution, it's going to bring employment for the area, good employment for the area, so people don't have to travel far distances to go to work. Plus, you have viable buildings that these business building owners can keep their buildings up. That is our intention, not to create any hardship whatsoever for the community of Section H of it. None. We want it to be nice. We want the businesses to be viable, and we want to be proud that we have these type of businesses in our community. I, for one, own a number of buildings, and I'm particular about what type of business that I want to be in.
I just don't think you answered the question, but it's saying allow all service-related business
Right.
to occupy the space without a need for use by exception.
That's correct.
When usually a business, when you're doing, if it's something that isn't covered,
Right?
you've got to apply.
That's why we're trying to change it. We're trying to make it much easier for businesses to come in and do business instead of
Without
having to
them applying.
No, they'll
the
apply.
regular way.
They don't apply. They'll pay their fee for their occupational license, and they'll be explained at how they have to keep the outside of their business and the noise and their pollution. No, they have to explain all that. They have to pay for an occupational
Hey,
license.
excuse me, can I make 2 points
Please,
on that? On the
please,
use by exemption?
absolutely.
So, about 80% of the businesses around
That's
here
right.
are already operating under a use by exception. That's because the law, the code is so outdated. Like an example was given at the city council meeting the other day. If you operated a drone repair facility for the Navy and you wanted to rent one of these buildings back here to operate your business, City of Atlantic Beach would go down the list. Oh, no, there's nothing on here about drone, we can't have you here.
Or
So-
you apply for use by exception.
So
Yeah.
they would have
Is
to
that
apply for a
because-
use by exception,
Right.
but I'll tell you what, this is a lengthy process. Not a lot of people are gonna do it, and the code is 20 years out of date.
They'll go to another
So,
city.
it needs to be updated.
Yeah.
It took
Let
me
me say
6
something.
months to get a sign permit. You know?
Let me add to that, this may help you out.
Year to get one to repair.
Well, let me say here, stay on task here. What I want to say, I thought was, I dropped the ball here, this pamphlet I gave, the first 2 pages was our original proposal, and this third one was section 24.112, light industrial warehousing districts, LIW. And if you see on there, there's 8 different things that are acceptable, okay? Right now, like we said, out of the 8 of them, 7 of them are already existing that we had to by use by exception. And we'll go, you know what I mean? That's what we're asking. These 6 businesses, every one of these now has to go through a use by exception. But these are already here, and so we're gonna have to go by.
Not to mention that if they really wanted to open a business and not have to go through that whole procedure for use by exception, once you cross over Dutton Island Road here in Jacksonville, and it's a new ballgame. We've had several tenants that have gone down. I mean, it's not even half a mile down the road, and they're existing fine.
And they're accepted
Well,
there.
okay, but if it was a business,
Yeah,
in Atlantic Beach Town Center,
yeah.
and they wanted to do something
Uh-huh.
that was not in here, they have to go through use by exception.
Industrial area.
Right, that we're doing this for this section because of the type of buildings. These buildings, if you notice, they're designed for more intensive use. They're not like a retail A lot of these buildings are more intensive use. They were allowed to be built for the last 50 years. And most of them were built to support the military base, most. But the businesses that are in here now, a lot of them support our community. Without them, they don't have the backbone of the community. And I'm not sure if you have a problem with them or not, I'm not sure, but I believe that they provide a viable service to our community. And I appreciate the businesses being here because you don't have to call into town to get them to come do services for you. And quite frankly, the United States is built on capitalism, which is designed to have businesses work in with residents so that it works together and the flow of money works that way.
So, well,
Yeah, by all means.
So you want to just include, like, C, all
That-
these uses by exception in the permitted uses?
We want to actually take the industrial code and move it into CG1 and CL, is what we want to do to allow a much broader base of businesses to come in. I'm not talking about a concrete plant or a nudie bar or anything that is destructive to the neighborhood, right? We're looking at businesses like Malvin was just saying, a drone business. That's not even remotely on that sheet. There's a million types of service businesses that can be done that aren't on that sheet. A million. Why would you want to hamstrap the owners of these buildings or the city to be able to have a quality business like that come do business in it? Because they employ people. They generally bring economic resources to the community. And it does mean something. It does help. It does help the tax base and it helps the residents in this community. Because believe me, I employ a tremendous amount of people. I own Mayport CNC Fishery, and I'd say 10 out of the 40 people that I employ work in this, live in this community.
So have you investigated like other cities or towns that you find admirable in the way they're structured?
Yeah, I have.
permitting? And so did you base your
Findings,
proposal on that?
not really, but I do a lot of business in Jacksonville Beach. And we're doing a $6 million project right now. We'll be getting off the ground in about 4 months. And the city there has embraced it. They're happy. They're allowing me to do recreational service and industrial all in the complex. They want the business. They want the businesses to be there. It's an economic engine. It serves the community well, I promise you. We'll have cheerleaders there, gymnastics there, commercial refrigeration companies there, auto mechanic body shops there, and all these people bring economic viability to the community, and it means something. Talk to the cities that don't have these people moving in, that are dying on the vine, and they would beg to have this problem. We're just trying to keep it where it's much easier for us to come in and bring businesses in. Believe me, if they're obtrusive to your eye, we're not interested. The other thing that I'm trying to accomplish is the outside storage, if it's allowed, if we could screen the outside storage so that you don't see it by the eye, I believe it's more pleasing when you're driving by it instead of it being outside storage. And that's the only other thing I'm trying to accomplish. Outside storage and a broader diversity of opportunity for businesses to come in to do business and be welcomed from the city of Atlantic Beach. Yes.
She wants to hit it.
Just to start kind of at the very beginning.
Yes.
In terms of what it is that your objective is. So you've got these 3 business districts in this pie-shaped zone that you're.
That's right.
Right, and then you've got the residential.
That's right.
So the residential would stay that, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then the business all become one color.
Right.
Okay, you want that to all be CG1? You want it to be a new district that you write code for?
Just-
I think in terms of just understanding what it is that you're asking for, because if you have a new district, a new color, and then a new code, then you're not gonna be using use by exceptions to sort of govern it.
Exactly.
Do I understand that?
That's correct.
We're trying to make a use where it embraces what's already allowed in the 3 that exist in section H, but it's one unified business district.
But it's different, it's gonna be governed by different codes than any
No.
of the existing ones, or no?
No. What we're trying to do is take trying to change our, what is our, it's
We're CG1.
CG1, okay?
We are CG.
Well, we got two different codes here. What we're trying to do is,
ILW.
what we're trying to do,
LIW.
what we're trying to do is change our section H to this city already written. The city doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to rewrite anything. They don't have to hire outside consultants. All we're looking for is ILW. This is the city code. It's already, we're asking for this little pie shape to be this. No-
ILW.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're talking about residential and ILW.
We're not talking about touching residential,
I
strictly
know, but I'm just saying,
the commercial buildings.
The pie, the shape of the pie
Yeah.
is gonna be residential, what you're asking for, residential
Right.
and ILW.
That's right.
I think it would be nice to have like an overlay, because I think this is confusing to people.
Huh.
To have it, this is what it is now, and this is what we want, in terms of just explaining it.
Right.
Because I think it really needs to be clear to people what it is that you're asking for, because once you do that, then you're not governing by use by exception.
Well, how much more clear can you make it? From Mayport Road to Atlantic Boulevard to Dutton Island to Main Street, we have businesses, out of 8 businesses that really aren't allowed now where we're governed, that are, that 6 of them are allowed by this, that we've had to get used back. This is all we want. It's already written, it's already
We
here.
just want to change the code to that.
That's all we want to do.
You
But-
want it to include any of the
That's all
three
we want.
accepted uses in section
But when you
H.
called it a generalized use, I think you need to be clear that you're looking for ILW.
Right,
Correct.
I apologize.
Okay.
I apologize.
That's why I said I dropped the ball.
No, you didn't. No, you
I
didn't.
dropped the ball.
I-
This is what we had a workshop. The city was so kind enough to grant us a workshop. That was really nice. That we really appreciate what the city, we're working real well with the city. And there was an individual there who was really upset. Well, we're gonna have to, and this is what got me, to make it real clear. We're gonna have to rewrite the code. We're gonna have to do this. I'm gonna need staff. He didn't get it either, okay? This is all we're asking. It's already here. No more, no less. This is all we're asking. You don't have to rewrite nothing. You don't have to put a consultant in. And it's already here. What's the occupancy? We probably got a 98% occupancy already. You know, nothing's gonna change. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what
Does
I
that,
think-
does that help you any?
Oh, no, it does.
Yes,
I think
ma'am.
a graphic
And,
would
and,
be
and as
very
far as the
helpful.
residents, you know, we are work hand in hand with the residents and we're, you know, it's really working great. But anyway, that's what we're asking. If anybody got, I wanted to clarify that. That was my mistake.
May I ask also, I'm sorry. I
Oh, I'm
didn't-
sorry.
Helen, did I answer your question okay?
Yes.
You did, okay, thank you. Does anybody else have a
Steve?
question? Yes.
I just wanted to clarify what she was asking, because I could tell. You don't want to expand the business district. Tell me if I'm correct.
You're correct.
Correct.
You don't want to expand the business district. You want regularized land use throughout this district. So
Correct.
everyone knows what's happening and businesses aren't excluded that are in the parts of this district. What she was asking for is an overlay photo that we can show people that gives that, oh, this is what it is now, and this is what it will be, and it gives everyone the visual of exactly what's happening without us knowing anything about ILW or CG or
Right.
all these, you know,
Right.
these codes and land uses. What we want to know is that the businesses aren't going to take over the the residential
Right.
area, and that we're gonna have a nice, vibrant business district
Right.
where people can pick stuff and make surfboards and
And they're doing it
do
now.
drones if they
And we're
have.
doing it
Well,
You
now.
know,
Steve.
that's part of our economy.
Yeah, Steve had a great point. So just to preface this,
I know you did that.
we're not looking to add any buildings. We're strictly looking to change the land use from Atlantic Boulevard to Orchid and Rose, all the way down to Levy. And that's and then on this side of the road, straight down to Atlantic. And that's basically all we're trying to do is do one unified code in that district, period. Not encroach any into the residential properties. We firmly believe that we are going to push for that community over there, that the city brings more money in there. Hopefully, we'd like them to close the exposed ditches up. We'd like them to better the roads. Well, I'd like them to do it. Better the roads over there, better lighting, maybe some sidewalking. But I've been pushing hard. Mr. Hill can tell you. I know he can't speak, but I can tell you, I've been pushing hard.
I've only lived back there 47 years.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Hill. I apologize.
I did not agree with that language at the warning that I was given by our city attorney. I
Right.
will speak on this issue.
Okay, I apologize, Mr. Hill. But I want to let you know that we are pushing for money in that district too. I've been in business there since 1987, okay? And I firmly can tell you that I care about my community. I am heavily invested in that community. And I do very well when my buildings are nice and people are happy in them. I don't do well when they're not.
I've lived back there since 1966.
Yes, sir.
So there's been a lot of change.
Yes, sir, there has. I
I've
agree.
seen the good and the bad.
Yes, sir, I agree.
If you can get that through there, you're gonna be a miracle worker. Because the city of Atlantic Beach don't care for that side. Mayport
Couldn't
Road,
agree with you more,
and
Herb.
never have.
Right.
Amen.
I agree.
Since I lived back there.
You're talking to a man that agrees with you wholeheartedly, and I tell you, I believe it's time to raise our voice, and that's why I'm here for two reasons. I'd like to make it easier to do business in Atlantic Beach, and I'd like to have some love over there.
Well, I don't know if you get the love, but I have lived across the street from some of the best and some of the worst. One of them's
Okay.
in your building. Amp,
Yeah,
that there I don't like.
got it.
Uh,
Did you like the fence that we put up?
I've got no objection to the fence if you move it back on your property.
Totally agree. I've already taken. It's okay. No, I
You asked the question.
Well, sir, I don't disagree. If you notice, I took it down, and the tenants put it up, and they put it up too close to the property line or past the property line. One of the two.
Past the property.
And I don't disagree that it needs to be adjusted. But if it was in the right spot, would you consider that an asset or a negative?
I think an 8-foot fence around a business is an asset. Not only does it hide things,
Right.
it quiets the area down.
Completely agree with you, and I apologize for them putting it up in the wrong area, but that is not an intention. I can tell you my intention is to soften the blow for the residents of that community, not to make a hardship, I promise you, Herb. That is my intention, because again, if you're happy and my tenants are happy, I don't even need to be around.
I got one of the best neighbors that lives across, got a business across the street.
Okay,
And me and him get along fine, and his wife. Don't we, Melvin?
well, listen, Melvin runs a fine business, I love what he does, and God bless him.
Hey, he's a good man.
Get Miss Mark.
Okay.
So I just want to clarify.
Yes, ma'am.
Just have to clarify that what you're looking for is to do away with the CG1 and the CG zoning, make everything light industrial. and light industrial.
Not zoning, but the code, not the zoning.
And then the use by exceptions that are listed under the LIW, would they now be considered permitted uses, or would these kinds of businesses
permitted.
still have to go through the use by exception?
No, they're permitted uses under ILW.
Okay.
And they're already existing.
She's saying the use by exception.
So we have an animal processing and.
No, those would have to be
No,
used by
no,
exception.
no,
yes.
and we don't want those either, no. Those-
Okay,
No, I'm sorry.
That's my question, and I
Exceptions
think that's what
Those will
some
still
people
be
are
used,
concerned
no,
about.
those will still be used by exception.
And that will be up to the city council and the mayor.
We're looking to
And the
adopt
community
it.
development board.
So the uses by exception that are currently listed under C.
Still would be.
Would still be
Yeah,
uses by,
yeah.
okay. I
Sorry
think-
about that.
Okay, yeah, I think that might have been.
We want this. This is what we want.
Okay.
This is what we want. We will abide by this. This is what we want.
Very important though is this screening. It is important. I tell you, because as you can see, it made a positive
Big
effect,
difference.
except for the visual. I get being able to see around the road. Agree. I
That
agree.
didn't bother me either.
Well, but still, it needs to be
Right,
set back.
for safety.
But I'm saying that if I did a zero lot line fencing and hid
'Cause
and suppressed what we have behind there, it would be a benefit to the community.
which would you rather look at, a nice stockade fence or a junkyard? I'm
stockade
sorry,
fence.
but that's about what it looks
I
like.
agree.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Question about the fencing though. I think the conversation comes down to a big fence or nothing. And I don't mind the fence because I'm actually right off Silent Street. So all your business neighbors are my business neighbors. And in general, they're great people.
Wonderful.
But the fencing creates this unpleasant corridor effect. And so I would be interested to see fencing, but then also some sort of landscaping required as well.
I like that.
I mean, I for one too want that to be beautiful back there. And a fence does hide stuff. but I don't know if it's the most aesthetically pleasing situation. So
I
I'd be
would-
interested to see some language in here regarding that.
Some landscaping. I actually talked to Miss Lanier about that a couple days ago, and I myself, dude, I can't speak for other business owners, don't have a problem with it adding additional landscaping to the fencing areas at all. I agree, totally agree with you, because a stockade fence is fairly plain, and I don't have any problem with additional landscaping. Like viburnum, Melvin has, the viburnum's it's actually a nice botanical hedge, a fence.
We allow stockade. You talking about cyclone fencing?
No, wooden paneled fence.
The wooden, okay.
Am I saying it wrong? Stockade, is that? Wooden panel?
I would imagine
It
mine
is.
would be cyclone fence.
And what I want to say about the fencing, we're not saying that every time we do, we're gonna put up a fence. If it's
No, that's
intrusive,
right.
if it's intrusive to Mr. Cox, you know, we want to be allowed to take that away from Mr. Cox. We're not saying that everything, we're gonna put up a
No,
fence everywhere. No,
absolutely
that's a
not.
misnomer. All we want to be is allowed to do it under this code that allows that. If Mr. Cox walks by and say, hey man, can you do this? No problem. We'll apply for a legal fence permit, go through the permitting. If it don't take 6 months, and how long does it take, Mr. Cox? A long time, right?
Well,
Anyway.
I'm working on 4 months
Right, 4 months to get
for
a
a
fence.
tree. No, just cut a tree down.
That's another discussion. Okay.
No,
now
I'm
listen.
not gonna get into
I-
it. You
no,
asked me how long it was
No,
for
what
a
I
permit.
say, answering your question, there has been some misinterpretation about, they think that we want to put fences up every time that's not the issue. The issue is if we have a problem, or residents come to us and say, Mike, that's kind of, if we can't get it, we'll be glad to put a fence up, and it allows it. It doesn't allow it now. It doesn't allow it. That's all we're saying. We don't want that type of corridor. Anybody else have any questions? Any questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Hill.
I was just going to make a couple of general statements. So one of the things that I observed a long time ago was the nature of the businesses over there. Can you hear me okay? The nature of the businesses over there and the actually changing nature of them are super sought after businesses by most communities. But the use by exception requirement, the 180 days, will take a military contractor completely out, because his project, that's more than a third of his average project. Those are high paying tenants who have short-term use that most of the property owners over there can't use, and they're very benign businesses. They're not mixing nuclear fuel over there. They're fixing airplane parts or ship parts, and it's not heavy industrial. It's exactly what most communities actually pay millions of dollars in subsidies to try to bring to their community. And our kind of antiquated code has left an unnecessary and easily fixed solution, but that's only part of the problem. A thriving business district has more money to keep their aesthetics better, and a thriving business district bleeds more tax money so that the infrastructure can better serve the residential areas. So my vision of it is really nice corridors into your residential area, but also to compartmentize that business district a little bit. And I have this weird dream of buying the cut through off of Mealy so that we can reconnect without having to use Main as often as it is for commercial. Because we could cut a tremendous amount of commercial traffic out of that area if we bought back what was once a city right of way from that property owner that probably owns that. I don't know who that is. But.
Let me speak to that, Jim. Most of my customers are.
And I have to say this real quick. I have to say this because it's a disclaimer. That's Jimmy Hill, not the city commission. That's me personally as a single individual. I'm not speaking for the city right now. I am an elected official. I'm the only elected official here, but I did want to recognize that a lot of people are in this room that are engaged in the political process. And if you are, raise your hand so that other people here. I'm talking about people running for office. And the reason I'm doing that is this group needs to know that while many city officials had previous engagements tonight, the community's engaged in this project. This is important to everyone. The city manager is here. You don't get him to everything. Our IT staff is here documenting it. And I'm going to brag on the city a little bit, which I would never do. I usually am ripping the city apart. That's usually my normal role as a commissioner. But we are doing a good job of trying to get this issue handled. This issue is not just a business district issue. This is a residential issue. And these business owners are sensitive to that. They understand that. So as residents, the more engaged you are, and this is an invitation to get into this process, the more it'll look the way you want it to look if it makes changes, if we're successful, if it's changed. So to everyone in here that's running and engaged politically, thank you. I didn't want to stand up and bandstand because I was here, but this is one of my pet peeves. This is one of the main reasons I ran for office originally, is as a fireman for 30 years, I've been in almost every business over there more than once, and I've been in most of the houses over the 30 years of being here. I'm engaged in that community. I know where West 14th Street is. Ask anybody else that one. You'll have a hard time finding it. So just let's give this process an opportunity to develop, but get engaged. Don't just cast it off. And that's residents, predominantly residents. Get engaged, and it'll start to look like what you want. So, thank you for letting me speak.
And I want to add, for Jimmy, my vision for this section, we have a unique section. We've got residents, we've got businesses, and we have something nobody else has. We've got marine, industrial, Navy contractors from all over the country. And I will tell you something, I sit on the board of the Jacksonville Area Ship Repair Association, I'm one of the executives, and I'm gonna tell you, I deal with Raytheon, BAE Systems, General Dynamics, and there has several nice businesses that wanted to move here, and they couldn't put up with all the city's things that they have to deal with, and they moved to town. And in those boardrooms in New York and San Diego, our little city is getting a bad rap for being business unfriendly to those type of people that we desperately want, you know? And my vision and our vision for this section, I believe that we could be another 5 Points, another San Marco, because we have things that they don't have. You know, I would like to open up a brewery here, but we can't. We can't. And I don't think that's a truth. But anyway, and I want to say that the city officials' email address is on the back of this, so I just want to let you know, if you got any more questions, you'll be able to. Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, so I'm in favor of brewery as well, I think that'd be awesome.
But we're not allowed. You
Yeah,
know.
but so my question though is, what have you guys done to speak directly to the residents who are adjacent to
This
the
is our,
business?
we have tried, we put it on Facebook, we've had the help of Mrs. Green, who is back there in the back in Paradise Cove. She would have been here tonight. Some of her, she's gonna get us involved with her homeowners association. You know, this is our first attempt, you know, it's gonna be better. I'll have a microphone and we'll, you know, we have food but nobody's eating it. We'll do a lot, but this is our first attempt. You know what I mean?
Mike,
And
one last thing, and not to interrupt you.
No.
I think I left out some of the most important people in the room. Believe it or not, there are board members here who are on the community development board I want to recognize. And the reason for them, and planning board, the reason I want to recognize them,
That's kind of where the rubber meets the road. Those